say continue travel. Keep your shape. Keep your shape. Continue travel. Keep your shape. Continue travel. Keep your shape. Keep your shape. So right now I just increasing time in the forward motion. You can practice speed control in the future. So I'm gonna ride one hand right now, pick up my left rein and set continue travel and keep your shape. Keep your shape. I continue sharing with you my theory of the first level, discover philosophy and methodology in the round pen from foundation program. And today we're going to talk and I will share my ideas how to educate or start to educate horse actually his mental abilities, start to educate his mental abilities, and after transfer to his physical abilities to actually understand speed control, understand differences between speeds, and how to control emotion and any speed we desire from him and not fall apart mentally and physically. And a very interesting idea to truly understand where we have to start to educate our horse to understand speed control under saddle, in the lunge line, or in the round pen. Or horse will learn in the future on his own to understand speed control without to educate his mental and physical abilities on any speed we desire from him. For many years, when I educate horses, I struggle, and it's honest the truth, I struggle with speed control with horses. To educate horse, travel on the speed I desire from the horse, walk, trot, and lope. Before I even discover my methods in round pen and sequence, that's very important, sequence of the methods that connect to each other, so it's going to lead to the horse successful education mentally and physically. I struggle in round pen. Horse all the time run around me, be sweat, hot, without balance, without cadence, without coordination. I never have very good success with my horses. In the same time, I educate horses after round pen, I educate them in hand communication, travel around me in the lunge line, change direction, stop, stay still, or travel on the walk, trot, and lope. And I don't have very good success with my horses. Horses again travel without mental abilities, cannot control emotions, cannot walk, cannot trot, cannot lope. Yes, horses trot, horses lope, horses walk, but there was not balance, not coordinated. Their mental and physical abilities was at a very low performance level. And after when I educate horses in round pen and in hand communication and transfer my education in the saddle, I blame shape of the horses, color of the horses, breed of the horses. I blame different bits, saddles, position of my seat under saddle. I blame everything around me, but actually not understand only one thing. I have to blame only myself because I don't have enough knowledge to educate horse mentally, to understand speed I desire from him and change speeds from the walk to trot, from the trot to walk, from the trot to canter, or from the walk to canter. He mental, look at his ears, look at his eyes, look at his neck. He truly understands right now what he's doing. And again, it's our consistent and consistently forward motion. Consistent and consistently forward motion every day. Every day, till horse understand this and develop physical and mental abilities. Very good. Now we're going to point or change speeds from the very slow to very fast to extremely fast and come back to me mentally without frustration. Pay attention to my education and not fall apart, not mentally, not emotionally, and not physically. By developing sequence of the methods in a round pen and develop actually these methods, I ask myself what's actually involved in a horse education between horseman and horse to educate horse to travel at a speed I desire from him. It's involved physical abilities, fear, or it's involved emotions and understanding actually to travel from the horseman body language, energy and voice command to actually travel at the speed I desire from my horse. By asking this question myself, I find this very interesting word. I have to educate horse emotions. So horse truly have to understand mentally and emotionally, understand physical exercise to travel at the speed I desire from him. So I can transfer this education to the saddle. Because if I'm going to apply education with whip to make horse travel in a forward motion, horse will going to use surviving instinct. And when I'm saying surviving instinct, horse will going to use fear. He wants to escape from the pressure to travel in a forward motion. Can I bring back mentally to me when I'm using whip? So horse will concentrate on my education mentally, what I desire from him, or change the speed. Absolutely not. He will travel with a lot of anxieties and his mental abilities to try to survive from the pressure. Through this process of education and sharing my theory of the first level discovered philosophy methodology in round pen, if you remember, we talk about first step in a round pen, educate horse travel consistent and consistently in forward motion. It's very important what I'm reminding you right now, travel consistent and consistently. So horse will understand travel immediately when horseman asks the horse to travel, and horse travel consistently, never stop. So we develop confidence and emotion in the forward motion. So how we educate horse travel actually in forward motion? With our energy, voice command, and body language. Because these cues I will transfer to the saddle when I'm going to ride my horse. My voice command I can transfer to the saddle. My body language, it's my legs, I can transfer. My seat position, that's my energy. So all these cues I can transfer actually from the ground when I educate a horse to the saddle. Can I transfer whip to the saddle? Absolutely not. Because if I'm going to ride the horse and I'm going to start to apply the whip, can I apply the whip so horse will travel on a very, very slow walk under saddle? That's not possible. Can I teach with whip horse to travel or come back to trot or come back to walk? Not possible. Can I educate horse with whip travel from the trot to the canter or come back to walk again or pick up again fast speed? Not possible again. Because we have to have position of our seat, our voice command, our legs, and develop horse emotion with many different physical exercises in the forward motion, so horse will actually understand to travel at a speed we desire from the horse. So through this many years of frustration and falling apart emotionally and don't have very good success with my horses, I finally find the answer. First of all, we have to develop horse emotions and any speed we desire from the horse. Horse actually have to understand the speed, walk, trot, and lope. And horse have to understand differences between speeds and how to change the speeds from the fast to very slow, from the slow to very fast to extreme fast, and come back to very slow. Again, I come back and I'm going to remind you again, we educate horse with energy, voice command, and body language. Each speed, through this process of education and watching how I educate a horse in round pen, we realize we have three different speeds, walk, trot, and lope. And for each speed, we have different cue with our energy, our voice command, and our body language. And we have to be so disciplined with this education on the ground before we transfer this to the saddle, because we're developing horse emotion. We're developing horse communication between us and our horses. Horses have to memorize mentally voice command for a trot, body language and energy for a trot, and exactly the same for a canter. When horse develops these emotions on the ground and understand that horseman, it's much easier for horse to understand horseman under saddle and travel on the speed what horsemen desire from the horse, and not to fall apart, not mentally and not physically, and control his emotion when we actually changing speeds. Why I actually start to educate horse to understand speed control on a round pen and not to use lunge line right away, or not educate horses right away under saddle to understand speeds, walk, trot and lope. It's a very big reason behind, because horse have mental abilities and physical abilities, joints, muscles, tendons, lungs, blood circulation, mental abilities, and etc. So if horse mentally will going to be tense, all his physical ability is going to be tense. And I will never going to develop speed control. If physical ability is going to be tense, I will never going to develop balance and coordination of the horse. Idea actually to educate horse speed control is actually very wide. Because we don't want to just educate horse to travel on a trot or on a walk or in a canter. We want to develop balance and coordination. We want horse truly develop also physical abilities. So let's start from the round pen and connect actually lunge line. So this education lessons, I all the time share to develop balance, coordination, let horse use full potential of his physical abilities and not strict horse mental and physical abilities with tools. So let's put ourselves in a round pen. Before we're going to even start to educate, let's think a little bit beyond the education. So before we're going to even start to educate horse to understand speeds, and we educate horse travel consistently in a round pen, let's put ourselves in a round pen and put another person in the middle of the round pen and let other person ask us to travel in a forward motion. And when we're going to travel in a forward motion around round pen and pretend we're a horse, we feel freedom and we can use our full potential and our physical abilities. And when you're going to travel actually to the left to the right around the round pen, you are going to find your body going to start to lean inside, and it's going to take time to develop on our own physical abilities to straight balance of our body. Because we travel in a straight line, but it's a circle. Your body will going to start to lean inside. So let's actually ask this person in the middle to put rope in our hands and tie our hands together and hold this rope from the middle of the round pen and ask us to travel in a forward motion. And how are we going to start to feel then? We're going to feel without the balance and coordination. We cannot use our full potential of our mental and physical abilities Mother Nature gives us. So exactly the same is going to happen with horses. When we're going to put halter on the horse head and we're going to pick up the rope, restricting horse mental and physical abilities. It's very hard for a horse to develop balance and coordination forward motion because it's already a circle. And plus, we're pulling him inside with this rope and halter, because he will gonna feel connection from his chin, from his muzzle to our hands. And any small movements of the rope from our hands to his muzzle, it's a pressure. And horse gonna start to lean inside. That's why horses pick up different leads, speed up, vary up, pulling back, and etc. And we talk about this in the previous lessons. So before we even educate a horse speed control, we have to educate how to relax his mental abilities and physical relaxation of these muscles to understand, to travel in the forward motion. In increasing time in the forward motion, horse will travel around us and develop this balance and coordination and cadence, relaxation in the muscle. When horse actually understand this education without halter and rope, then we transfer to the tools halter and rope. It's called in hand communication, and it's much easier for a horse to develop this forward motion and develop this balance and coordination. Then we can educate horse speed control, because horse will already understand how to travel on a walk, trot, and lope without the halters and rope. Then when we're going to open round pen and start to educate horse in hand communication and lunge line, for horse going to be much easier to understand, to travel, and the mental and physical ability to travel around us on the walk, trot, and lope. So that's a reason why I first of all educate horse to understand forward motion and speeds, walk, trot, and lope, without a halter and rope and whip. So horse understand my body language, voice command energy, develop relaxation, and the physical abilities, balance, coordination, and develop this forward motion. So let's take away round pen and take away lunge line, and say we're going to start to educate horse speed control under saddle right away. We finish our preparation, make horse confident, safe, we allow to ride the horse. We pass all this groundwork and etc. So now we're going to start to ride the horse under saddle. So we have to think right away about, again, horse physical and mental abilities, emotions and the physical abilities of the horse. Horse have muscles. He can tense his muscles because he will going to tense mentally, because he not understand forward motion. That's why we're squeezing harder, we're tapping our reins. Plus we have a weight, our body saddle on top of our horses without balance and coordination. And we teach young horse to travel in forward motion. That's my back. Stop right here again. That's better. Right here. We have problem with this forward motion. It's not up to me. It's up to her. Go forward. See what's happening here? That's that heavy. Garina gonna help him. Oh my God, I'm scared. I changed my diapers. Okay.
What can these trainers do when somebody's in the race?
So we're gonna try a different direction. I'm gonna use my legs because I don't want to use all the time stopping with my rope. That's my back. I release. Oh my God, she scared me. Again, release right here. See what's gonna happen if she can walk a little bit for me. Shut down again. Continue. Here you go. Here we go. Woo! That's scary.
That's a good.
That's it. Judges, 2 steps down or no? Okay, ask the horse go forward. That's a very big trauma on the horse's mental abilities. And only he will travel on the speed you desire from him. So he will gonna try to survive his physical and mental abilities from the pressure. That's why we tapping our reins, have other person to run in horse with flag. Horse actually not understand forward motion. Horse understand how to use surviving instinct. And finally, he will travel on the forward motion because he memorized mentally. If I'm not gonna travel forward motion, I will gonna receive spank from the reins, or other person gonna run me with whip. It will gonna be involve pressure. I have to move forward. And through the years, horses memorize and transfer these mental abilities with fear to travel in forward motion. And a lot of times, very sensitive horses just struggle through his life of education to travel on the speed and develop so many, we desire from the horse, and develop so many different anxieties. And the different education, because speed involve on any education as horse. Because all horse walking, trotting, and loping. Doesn't matter if your horse teach your horse to back up, or side pass, or guiding, or jumping, or go over the obstacle. That's involve speed. So if horse not understands speed mentally, the rest of education will gonna start to fall apart. So again, we took lunge line, we took right away educate horse under saddle to travel in forward motion and speeds. So we realize horse actually mentally not understand. That's a random education, random communication and some kind of subject without sequence of the methods that not connect to each other at all. It is not previous education. You will gonna perform for me right now because I telling you to perform for me. And I done all this in my life also. And you can see actually when I perform in Alberta in a Red Deer and a cold starting challenge, my horse start to buck because I don't have enough time to educate horse travel and the forward motion. I not develop horse emotions. I don't have no spurs, not a whip, because all this education was for me about the horse, not about the trophy.
You got her.
There you go.
Little fix. Oh, I don't want to be backed up. Right here.
Yeah, I just hate it when the stirrup comes off my right foot like that too.
Yeah.
That was a good job.
So you guys have a lot of excitement now. So you don't waste your time and money. Okay, let's rope very scary rope. I'm gonna try my best. Oh my God, I'm not a roper. I'm gonna try. Please don't back me off again. All right. Right here. Let my horse stay still, easy. Easy. Where's this loop? I can't find this loop. Oh my God, how many ropes? Right here. Here. Woo! Thank God.
Even I end up second in this competition. In my heart, I feel I done very good job with my horse because it's all about education and share philosophy methods with people so that I will succeed with the horses. So reality, you're gonna have to take this horse from this challenge, strip all the stock away from the horse and start from beginning to educate the horse and develop these emotions. So what kind of steps we need to accomplish to educate horse to understand speed control? We need step number 1, educate horse travel consistent and consistent forward motion. And we have to educate horse turn outside so we can change actually speed from the fast to slow, from very slow to very fast, and etc. Because I cannot sit on my horse, I cannot pull reins back, I cannot change direction. Everything horse have to educate it without the tools right now. So I have to concentrate on the horse front shoulder. Because all the time when we can see when horse travel, even in very slow, and a very slow speed in the walk, and I want to change direction outside, but not all the way outside, just to asking him to slow down with turn outside, you will gonna see front shoulder, inside front shoulder, we're gonna step very deeply, and hindquarters will gonna stop. So this way, I can educate horse to change the speed and understand to travel on the speed I desire from him. So when I ask my horse to travel on the walk, I using my voice command, my body language, and my energy for the walk, and horse understand travel on the walk. I increasing timing till horse develop muscle memory and mental ability to travel in forward motion. I increasing my energy. I changing my voice command. I changing my body language. I asking my horse to change the speed to the trot. When horse truly understand the trot, then I teach my horse to change speeds from the trot to walk. When horse understand and develop emotions and physical ability and balance and coordination in the walk and trot, then I'm going to start to educate horse to pick up even much faster speed, canter, and again increasing timing till horse will develop balance and coordination. And through the slash education, we find slash hesitate pick up right lead because Mother Nature did not give him very good balance and coordination in the right side, pick up correct lead. So we're using actually speed control to change the leads. We actually using turn outside to slow down his mental abilities if he fall apart emotionally. So sequence of the methods, they're critical important. So horse actually understand previous methods and steps. And that's again emotions involved, understanding involved. Because if I'm going to pick up again whip and I'm going to start to run my horse without consistent cues, he will not even understand what is up for him. He will just run forward. And say, for example, if I using whip and ask horse travel forward motion and horse pick up wrong lead in the round pen, how I can develop this balance and coordination and muscle memory if he's mentally fall apart, emotionally fall apart. He tense mentally, he tense physically. I will never develop correct lead. I will never develop nice soft cadence on his forward motion. It will be zero communication between horse and horseman. He will run forward only because of survival instinct. So that's why it's so important for us to spend a lot of time polish previous methods. So horse will develop this emotion, develop this understanding, and after we take this knowledge and transfer to the future education of his mental and physical abilities. Why we even have to educate horse travel on different speed? Why we have to change speeds? Why we have to educate horse travel on a very fast speed and slow down and travel on very maximum slow speed? I would like to share with you my idea and how I feel about this education. First of all, like we know already, this education we have to transfer. If we have to develop mental abilities of the horse. Horse have to be very confident with changing speeds and understand speeds on the ground before we put saddle on the horse and before we mount the horse. After round pen education, it's involved in hand communication, develop confidence and solid mind, and after round pen riding education, and after we taking all these walls away and educate horse to ride in the open area, in the field or in arena. So horse have to develop his mental abilities. He have to be very strong mentally to understand speeds before the saddle. Develop balance and coordination, all the time reminding you that. So horses, what was thought in their life to travel all the time at the same speed, all the time in the fast speed, or speed horses who all the time are running, or horses was educated all the time travel on a very slow speed, they have a lot of mental problems. They have a lot of anxieties. Horses, I give you an example. Horses will travel on a very fast speed. They're all the time hyper. They're not understand emotion. It exists different speeds. They cannot control the emotion and fear because it's all the time run. A lot of adrenaline there, all the time. And that's why we have problem very up, kicking out, cow kick, bucking, cannot travel towards the gate, cannot ride with different rider, cannot slow down on the trail, chewing on the beat, flipping backwards, That's where it starts. It's not because horse wants to vary up or cannot travel beside other horse, because he developed anxieties with different previous education. Horses will travel on a very, very slow speed. They want to all the time travel on a very fast speed, because we're shutting down horse mental ability. We don't let horse use his brain. We don't let horse use his emotions and travel on the speed we desire from the horse. So he can actually understand differences between speeds. And when you let horse to travel on a very fast speed, but because he was taught all his life travel on a very, very slow speed, he wants to run and he never wants to stop, because he wants to express himself and not to be a robot. So in reality, we can educate horse under saddle travel on a very, very slow speed. And at the same time, this horse will travel all the time on a very, very slow speed. We can educate him travel on a very fast speed. A horse mentally going to be happy because you let horse express his emotions, use his body, use his muscle, use his blood circulation, brain, communicate with horseman. So it's very important to educate horse, in my opinion, to understand speeds, walk, trot, and lope, and change the speed. And I give you a very interesting example. Once I traveled on a trade show, and it was cowboy challenge, extreme cowboy challenge competition, and horse enthusiastic decide to compete on this challenge. And horse was trained to travel only on a very, very slow speed with head down as a robot. And it's a final step of education. You have to travel on a very, very fast speed on the lope around the arena for a final stretch to the finish line. And when this horse enthusiastic let his horse to travel on a fast speed, horse got very, very excited, have a lot of anxiety, and start to take off maximum he can, run away, run off. It was zero control. And what's happened in the end? Horse ran through the fence, and horse enthusiastic fly over the fence and lay down on his back. It was very, very dangerous situation for the horse and for the horse enthusiastic. Because horse was educated only travel on a very, very slow speed as a robot. It would not let horse to express their emotions. Horse not understand differences between speeds. So horse just express himself. It's not bad horse at all. And it's not bad horse enthusiastic. Don't take me wrong. I'm not against discipline, because pleasure, reining, cutting, barrel racing, it's involved many different speeds in these events, and it's a lot of hard work. We as a horseman, we work very, very hard with our horses. And I respect any of this discipline, this equine discipline, because it's involved a lot of hard work to educate horse, travel on a very slow speed, on a very fast speed, understand speeds, and do all these physical maneuvers. So it's very important, again, very important for us to understand, to have a healthy horse mentally. Education start not under saddle, not in lunch line with whip. Education start way, way back, without the tools. So horse will truly understand how to use freely physical abilities, mental abilities, develop muscle memory, develop balance, coordination, understand voice command, energy, body language, communicate with horsemen, and after transfer this to final farm education under saddle. When I educate my student to understand how to apply energy, because energy is a key for success to communicate the horse. If you cannot move the air with your energy, you will never move horse mental abilities. When I start to educate my students, I all the time saying and share with you, do not use your whip. Please do not use whip. And if we, as a horseman, we born or we want to become a bear horseman, we have to learn how to apply our body language, our energy, and our voice command. And with my students, I allowed my students to use whip in the first day of education. And how I actually teaching them and why I teaching him to using the whip. I show them how horsemen can be useless without the energy and voice command and body language with horse. I let them understand how to develop these skills, how to develop this energy. And when they develop this energy, they understand the horse body language, they develop confidence, they develop their skills, I take whip away from my students. And right away, my students feel naked because they don't have a tool in their hands. They cannot run the horse. So it's going back and forth, back and forth. Here whip, give me whip away. Here the whip, give me whip away. Till you will develop your energy, till you develop your skill, till you develop your confidence. Energy will gonna come with time, with a lot of confidence, because you understand the actually skills of your education. Not on this particular physical exercise. You understand final performance, moving your horse under saddle, what you want to educate your horse. If you don't have all this knowledge, you will never develop right away. That's not possible. It's not shortcuts. That's not a gimmick. You will never develop your energy. Only time and confidence and skills will develop this communication energy between you and your horse. Horse will understand you better. Horse will respond to your body language much better. It's all going to be two-way communication. Horse will read, feel your energy, because horses sense your energy right away before you even start to educate. Horse already know when you step in around pen. Horse already know what kind. He sense your energy. Horse understand what kind of person you are, what kind of presence you have, what kind of energy you have, how you communicate with me. It's not different when horses communicate between each other and have a leadership. So exactly the same between horse and horseman. Reality, it's a very long and very deep subject to educate horse to understand speeds, because if horse again not understand on the ground and with transfer education under saddle, I give you a small tip. It's going to be a lot of problems in the future. Like to educate, develop horse flexibility in the horse neck, we need physical exercise to develop neck muscles, so connect the shoulders, rib cage, hindquarters, and etc. So to make horse flexible on his body. So say for example, horse not understand speed. Simple walk and be relaxed, stretch, not just walk choppy like this. Relax and travel on a forward motion. Use his shoulders, use his hindquarters. If horse not understands speed and you just wiggle your reins or somehow to educate horse travel, forward motion, and walking, you're not consistent with your cues, how we can educate horse develop neck muscle memory? That's not possible because horse not understand speed. You're going to be tense. You not understand forward motion. So plus we added in to educate another step, muscle memory, neck, shoulders, rib cage, doesn't matter. Again, it's not going to work. If you're going to ask your horse to travel on a faster speed, that's going to be even worse. Then you're going to ask horse to travel on a canter, that's going to be even much worse. That's why we're changing beats. But reality, we have to think, it's not the tools we have to change. We have to go all the way back and develop the speed control. So horse truly understands speed from the horseman, understanding the speed And without pulling his face, that's why we have round pen riding education, that horse truly understand travel under saddle and the speed you desire from him. Again, round pen education, in hand communication, develop confident, solid mind, round pen riding education. Each level have their own methods and connect, so horse will truly understand speed involved on any physical movement of the horse education and any physical exercise. So again, true great members, it's very important for us to first of all develop forward motion with 3 different cues. So 3 different body language, energies, and voice commands. So horse understand. And after increase your energy, change your body language, change your voice command. And please be very, very consistent. If your horse not trotting from the walk, don't start to kiss, don't start to swing the rope, because it's not consistency. You will never develop consistency in the horse brain. And everything starts from the round pen. Consistency on any physical exercise, that's critical, important. With energy, body language, voice command. With physical exercises, very important consistency. If you're not going to be consistent and somehow pull and somehow clock and somehow point, that will never gonna work. So be very consistent, please, with your cues. Take your time and develop forward motion and develop speed control with your horse. And it's going to be much easier after to transfer the education to in-hand communication or to the riding education between you and your horse.